Our bookmarks will need to fit three different sized books. A large book takes 2/3 yards of ribbon to make. A medium book takes 1/2 yard of ribbon to make. And a small book takes 1/3 yard of ribbon to make. Let's take a look at our first problem. For this problem, we have 6 medium-sized books, and I want to know how much ribbon that's going to take. If each medium-sized book is 1/2 yard of ribbon for its bookmark, how much ribbon will I need in all? So we have 6 books times 1/2 yard of ribbon. What does that get us? I'm going to go ahead and model this problem to help me solve it. So I'm going to use these circles to represent 6 books. Then I'm going to go ahead and shade in half of each to represent the half of yard that I need for each. After that, I'm going to go ahead and circle each group that makes one whole. Adding them together, you get 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is a total of 3. So 6 times 1/2 is 3. Another way to solve the problem is by using the standard algorithm. We can take 6 and make it a fraction by writing it as 6 over 1 and multiplying it by 1/2. All you have to do is multiply the numerators and then the denominators, and we get 6 over 2. Remember that fractions can also show division, so really 6 over 2 means 6 divided by 2, and you still get the answer of 3. To make bookmarks for 6 medium sized books, it will take 3 yards of ribbon. So for this problem, I have 4 small books that I want to make bookmarks for. It takes 1/3 yard of ribbon for each book. So I've set up my equation to be 4 times 1/3. What is that going to equal? First, I'm going to draw 4 rectangles to represent my 4 small books. Then, I'm going to split them up into thirds. After I split them up into thirds, I'm going to go ahead and shade in 1/3 for each to represent the 1/3 yard that I need for each book. After that, I'm going to need to have to think about how many thirds that is in total. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 thirds total. I'm going to show how to do this with the standard algorithm. So, first, I'm going to write 4 over 1 and multiply it by 1/3. So, 4 times 1 is 4, and 1 times 3 is 3. So, we still get 4 thirds. What I want to focus on now is how to go ahead and change this into a mixed number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle 3 of those thirds because that's going to equal 1. And now I'm noticing I have 1/3 left. So 4 thirds is equal to 1 and 1/3. That makes 1 and 1/3 yards as my answer. That is how much ribbon I will need to make 4 bookmarks for my small books. For this problem, I have 24 small books. For each book, it takes 1/3 yard of ribbon to make its bookmark. How much yards of ribbon am I going to need in all? I still want to show how to represent this in a picture form, so I'm going to go ahead and draw 24 books. Then, after I draw 24 books, I'm going to go ahead and split them in thirds. Goodness, that took a lot of time. Now I'm shading in 1/3 out of each of those books. After that, I'm going to go ahead and circle groups of 3 to show each one that makes a whole. That makes a total of 8 yards of ribbon. But was there an easier way to do that? To represent that without having to draw 24 books? There sure is! We could think of 24 times 1/3 as 1/3 times 24. That is because the order of the numbers in multiplication does not matter. You will still get the same answer. So we can go ahead and look at 1/3 times 24. Another way to write that would be 1/3 of 24, what makes it easier to think about. Can you go ahead and represent 1/3 of 24? In order to do that, you go ahead and create a bar and separate it into thirds. The total will equal 24. We split it into thirds and represent each one of those thirds. How much is 1/3 of 24? What number 3 times will equal 24? It turns out that that answer is 8. 8 3 times is equal to 24. So 1/3 of 24 is equal to 8. That's 8 yards. In this case, it was easier to think of it as 1/3 of 24 and represent it that way in an image. than it would be to go ahead and draw 24 books. There are many strategies when solving a fraction times a whole number problem. I want you to go ahead and try this next problem on your own, using everything that you've learned so far. For this problem, we have three large books, and it takes 2/3 yards of ribbon to go ahead and make a bookmark for each. How many yards of ribbon do we need for these three large books? There are many ways to solve the same problem. Go ahead and check your answer with mine, and remember that you could have taken different steps. If you got 6/3, or a total of 2 yards, you are correct.